Hello, everyone, and welcome to our much anticipated webinar for this day. And I got so many messages, so many people are looking forward to it. We are overbooked for the show. We actually had to extend our what to say our services with go-to meetings to accommodate the large number of people who have signed up for these things. So thank you for all coming up. And I really hope that in this fragile time of this pandemic, you're doing well and your family is doing well and safe. And our prayers are there with you. And in all this, still thank you that you took the time to come for this webinar. So with that, we go ahead. So the meeting for the day is meeting payment security needs now and for the future. A quick background, as a company, like I see so many people, we've been doing this for like 3 years now, the webinar, and many people have been there since a long time with us for the webinar. So many of our clients also there. So just for the rest who are not aware, we are Vista InfoSec. We are as a company also a PCI QSA. We've been there. We are also PCI QPA now into PIN assessments. And as a company, we've been there for like 15 years. And we started off our trials with PCI DSS in 2007 when there was PCI DSS 1.2, and our first client at that time we worked with was BillDesk, India's #1 payment company. And since then we've been regularly been there, and 3 years back we became a QSA too, and it's been a wonderful journey, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be there with the council, associated with the council. And there were many requests that we need somebody else also to be there to answer what is there in the future for PCI, from the PCI council side, for the future side of the payment security needs in the changing environment, especially in the digitized vision for this country that our prime minister has. And with that comes a whole new set of challenges with regards to payment security. So what is the future that we can look forward to? And that's where I had a word with Nitin, and Nitin Bhatnagar, I'm sure that everybody's heard of him, and he is there um, representing India in the council. He's the associate director, like I'm sure everybody knows that. And I had a word, then we followed up with the council, and it's been a great privilege and an honor that they agreed for this webinar, and this is for you. So we go ahead on this, and this is a brief about our company. We have been there since 2004. We have our office in US, Singapore, UK, Middle East, and stuff. And we are ourselves 27,001 certified, and okay, many other things. I'll go ahead and a brief on our services profile. Don't worry, I'm not going to take up much time speaking about me and the company. We'll jump into the meat of it, but this just to give a background. So we are there on, we are totally vendor neutral. We don't sell any products. We have been there on 27,000 PCI DSS, QPA, so many other things, SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3, HIPAA, GDPR. We do many of these things. And risk and security, we do all the VAPTs, secure configuration reviews and stuff. And tech advisory, we do the specialized assessment. That's one of our key services on WAF, SIM, IPS. Again, we don't sell anything, any of the hardware, software on that, totally vendor neutral. And of course, we have our own training portal on site, online and offline. So that's about the company. And for those who are not aware, to put a face to the name, this is me, Narendra Sahoo. This is my company, Vista InfoSec, and I'm myself a QSA, QPA, and many other things. And I've been working for almost like 25 years, and for the past more than a decade, 15 years with Vista InfoSec. And of course, this is the man of the moment, Nitin Bhatnagar, a very close friend of mine. I've known him for many years, a gem of a guy. He's my go-to person in case I'm stuck anywhere, as I'm sure that many of you would also agree. He's always there. And I couldn't have asked for a better representative at the council than Nitin. Just a wonderful person to interact with and knows the subject so well. Absolutely down to us. So I wouldn't like to embarrass him anymore on this. So that's a brief background about him. And if you need to know the basics, we got an entire PCI DSS playlist on our channel. That's our YouTube channel online, as you can see. And you can do a search in YouTube, and entire playlist is there on PCI DSS and GDPR and 27001 and scoping and segmentation and data linkage prevention, Wi-Fi security, e-commerce security. So there are many videos over there debunking myths, PCI DSS in 90 days. So many things are there. Be sure to make it a point to visit. And this is the agenda. There's been a surprise update. See, this thing was set up like more than a month back, And that time, of course, COVID-19 was not known to be such a huge risk and challenge to the industry. So what has been the updates from COVID-19, especially from the council, taking into consideration, audit challenges, phishing challenges, scams, so many things happening. So PCI Council, in a very, very thoughtful way, has released its own advisory. So Nitin would first get into that. There's, of course, the DSS, the SSF, that is, security, software security framework, SSF, that has been released. And the most anticipated part is the upcoming DSS, PCI DSS 4.0, and what it looks like. So many people are asking me almost on an everyday basis, what's the updates happening? What can be expected? What are the dates? When will it be enforced? So all those things Nathan is going to cover. And then last but not the least is, how can you as an organization or an individual become and contribute to the become a part of the council, contribute, become a part of the participating organization and do trainings and stuff like that. So many things are there. And this is my last slide just for me. That is, there is only one rule and one rule only for this webinar, that is, ask your questions. We cannot go anywhere without your questions, and Nitin is there. You cannot be asking for a better person to be answering your queries. Put down your queries. Of course, I can't do it on the fly like I always do. We'll be keeping the queries to the end, and we'll be taking up those questions as much as possible because we have a tight timeline. But rest assured that I'll be sitting on Nitin's head personally to ensure that he answers all the questions at least offline, and they will be mailed back to you. So do ensure that you drop in the question, anything, anywhere, just drop in the question, and we will make it a point to answer it. So I'll be handing the screen off to the man of the moment, my dear friend and colleague, if I might say that, Nitin Bhatnagar. Okay, and one more thing, like in case you are facing any sort of connectivity issues, or you're not able to see the slides, or there is some issue with the whatever, just do drop me a line, do drop a message, and my colleagues are there to cater to it, to take care of it, and to help you across. So on to Nitin. Yeah, Nitin, my friend, please go ahead. You're live.
Thanks, Nalin. Thanks, Alain. Thanks a lot. Thanks. I hope you guys are able to see my screen. So before, just give me a second. Yeah, I think now it's much better. Thanks, Narendra. Thanks, Vista InfoSec, for giving us a wonderful opportunity for this collaboration to deliver a short webinar on the current needs for the payment security and for the future. And very good afternoon to all the participants who have joined in for this webinar and have taken time this afternoon to hear me out. I hope you and your family members are doing good, and I hope for the betterment, and hope you are safe and sound. Let's kick off this much awaited webinar without any further delay. Before I move forward, there's a quick disclaimer. PCI does not endorse or approve any specific security products or such as firewalls, antivirus software, or web application firewalls. So this is a disclaimer, which probably just I wanted to keep everyone posted on. Moving on to the next slide, as Narendra highlighted, the COVID-19 is one of the situation which is really unprecedented and has caused so much concerns across the globe, just not India. And as the circumstances are evolving, there are so many questions that we have been getting, a rising variety of issues, including impact on assessments, trainings, and we have been actively monitoring the developments, and have been collaborating with the stakeholders and community on the response and what kind of guidance that is required. So we have got a web page, PCI Security Standards.org COVID-19, which is a web page which has all the relevant information which the industry stakeholders should be aware of, and this also contains links to the blogs and the guidance that PCI SSC has been publishing since we get to know that the COVID-19 is creating a lot of chaos across the globe. So, considering that, there was a slight change in the agenda, and I thought that I will walk you through, what PCI Security Standard Council has been up to in terms of making sure, we cater to the needs of the industry and provide as much as guidance that is required. So, how is COVID-19 affecting your organization? You know, who would have thought, at the start of the new year, when we were all making our new year resolutions, and what monumental and global impacting changes were just around the corner. We never thought of it. It is now safe to say that COVID-19 has impacted all our personal and working lives. See, we all are now today remotely working, and we are trying to, uh, take you through this presentation completely remotely. So, and I assume many of you would be hearing me when, while you are working at remotely at your home or some other workplaces. So for many organizations, their business have literally just stopped, and for others, it has required a fundamental changes in how and most impactful where we work. So processes, procedures, we took for granted are being now stretched in ways we could never have imagined as companies try to keep working in these challenging circumstances. The aim and focus of this webinar largely is going to take you through what PCI SSC has produced to ensure that you can keep your businesses secure, and as well as I will also walk you through the key updates on the various PCI standards, and how you should be doing business outside of your usual workplace. uh, Single biggest change, which has impacted most businesses, is that your staff are now working remotely. In normal circumstances, migrating staff to the work from home, staff to work from home would have taken months or years to ensure that it was undertaken in a controlled and a secure manner. For most organizations, COVID-19 has meant that they had less than a week to achieve this massive change. Now, I'm sure many of you would have already felt it. As a result, focus was on making it happen as quickly as possible, ensuring employees could actually connect and work. Depending on where the company is located, the nature of the COVID-19 is that this sudden shift may still be happening as we talk. So, how can we ensure that your employees can work remotely securely? What are the simple steps everyone can adopt? So I'm going to talk about the recent blogs that has been released by PCI SSC on the remote working. Council has recently released two excellent blogs, which blog posts that covers working from home. First blog is focused on how PCI DSS can help remote workers, and the second is protecting payments while working remotely. The second blog addressed the fact that many call center staff are now working remotely. So let's take a look at the key aspects of both blog posts. Uh, Working remotely and securely. So staff working remotely for the first time might not be familiar with the organization policies and processes that apply to remote work environments. All staff should receive security awareness training that emphasizes the importance of data security and be knowledgeable in the organization security policy and processes that applies to remote working. For example, uh, the policies and procedures should be clearly prohibit any unauthorized copying, moving, sharing, or storing of payment card data in remote environments. Remote staff additionally need to be aware of their physical surrounding, taking care to prevent sensitive information from being viewed by unauthorized person. Also, the use of technology that ensure payment data remain protected and enable remote personnel to perform their work securely is also a vital consideration when supporting remote work environments, which includes requiring all staff involved in payments and payment processing to use company equipment and not personal equipment such as computers. This slide talks about multi-factor authentication. Use of multi-factor authentication for all remote network access originating from outside the company network. So PCI SSC has also released a blog and infographic focused on multi-factor authentication, what it means and how to do it properly. Where possible, this should involve the use of unique company credentials, such as a strong password, plus a second factor such as a token, passcode, or a smart card. Password policy, it also plays a very important and crucial role. Password should follow company and PCI DSS policy and should be easy to remember and hard to guess. It is essential that the remote workers do not share their passwords or write down where others may observe them. This is very important. PCI SSC has produced a blog post and infographic on strong passwords. Please use this to help yourself. So this is available on PCI Security Standards websites and can be accessible very easily. This slide largely talks on ensuring that all systems and computers are fully up to date in order to make sure you're able to get your systems managed properly. Ensure your employees' computers are running the most up to date version of all softwares. Ensure patching will occur even when working remotely. Ensure anti-malware and has been installed and is up to date. PCI also has a blog on protecting your business against malware. Uninstall or disable applications and software that are not needed to reduce the attack surface of computers and laptops. Most importantly, use only secure encrypted communication. For example, a properly configured VPN to protect all transmission to and fro the remote device that contains sensitive information such as cardholder data. In the same slide, in managing systems, automatically you should be able to disconnect remote access sessions after a period of inactivity to avoid idle open connections being used for unauthorized access. Limit access to systems, components, and cardholder data to only those individuals whose job requires such access. For many people, it was a rush to enable remote working. As we all know, we get into the situation of COVID-19 so quickly, we never realized. Now is the time to make sure that everything is up to date to prevent criminals from gaining access. It is like I'll call it is an emergency. So we need to break the glass and take out now our your incident response plan that you have, of course, regularly updated and tested as part of the requirements of PCI. But just in case you're about to do your annual check now, in any time this month or in few days from now, what you need to do, make sure it is up to date, you have the correct people listed, you have up to date contact details including the contact numbers, and that key stakeholders have been informed you where they are and which number is the best to reach them. So this is you need to get your incident response plan intact as quickly as possible. Make sure the people who contact you are who they say. And I think this is very important here. So verify the identity of all callers. This could involve different steps that when the user and IT departments are on site at the same location, all staff should be trained to be aware of the potential phishing calls. IT teams should be prepared to identify rogue calls from people claiming to be the remote users, and there should be a process for staff to confirm their identity when calling IT support remotely. Similarly, the remote staff should know how to confirm that a person who phones claiming to be from a corporate IT is legitimate before providing any information. All organizations should evaluate the additional risk associated with processing payment data in an unsecured location and implement controls accordingly. All staff should be made fully aware of the risk related to remote working. and what is required to maintain the ongoing security of system, processes, and equipments supporting the secure access and processing of payment card data. We all need to understand at these challenging, unprecedented times, it has never been more important to focus on people, process, and technology. So it's we always say that a strong data security foundation start with people, process, technology, as we have been all talking about it. I'll walk you through each, how why this is important, and how and what we should be looking at. People, when you come to the people, the staff working remotely for the first time might not be familiar with the organization policies and processes that apply to remote work environments. All staff should receive security awareness training that emphasizes the importance of data security and, importantly, knowledgeable in the organization security policy and processes that applies to remote working. Organization should evaluate the additional risk associated with processing account data in unsecured locations and implement controls accordingly. All staff should be made fully aware of the risk related to remote or home working and what should be required to maintain the ongoing security of systems, processes, and equipment supporting the processing of telephone-based payment card data. Securing systems and data located in work environments can be challenging and difficult to enforce. At a minimum, the home workers should be required to ensure that any system that they use to process account data and any account data to which they have access is securely maintained and not accessible to any unauthorized individuals. Also, the use of technologies that ensure payment data remains protected and enable remote personnel to perform their work securely is also important consideration when supporting remote work environments, which includes requiring all your staffs involved in the payments and payment processing to use company equipment and not personal equipments such as computers, which I have highlighted in my initial discussion slide as well. The process, the physical environment within which an office worker or home worker is taking card payments over telephone should be effectively monitored and access controlled. Few examples I'll just walk you through. Ensure that at home remote workers use multi-factor authentication. Restrict physical access to media containing payment card data such as call or screen recordings, as well as your networking and communication hardware. Technology, by limiting exposure of payment data in your system, you simplify scope and validation and reducing the chance of being a target for cyber criminals. So people, process, technology, I think having these three having these three strong data security foundation is very, very important when your staffs are working remotely and handling the payment card holder data. So how you can protect your customer cardholder data? So I think this is something which we have been talking about. So you need to have all personals to use only company approved hardware devices, example mobile phones, telephone handsets, laptops, desktops, and systems. This is especially relevant to remote at home working, ensuring that the entity can maintain control of systems and technology supporting the processing of telephone based card data. Ensure that all desktop terminals in remote at home working environments have personal firewalls installed and operational. Have the latest version of the corporate virus protection software and definition files. Have the latest approved security patches installed and are configured to prevent users from disabling security controls. For the home and remote worker, supported as an extension of entities network, make sure that their environment, for example, network and other technology, is secure in accordance to the PCI DSS requirements. Any implementation should be agreed to with your acquirer or the payment card brand, regardless of whether you are a call center worker or other general staff member working remotely, consider your location when working from home. Are you setting up where the people could observe your computer? For example, perhaps the kitchen is not the most secure place to set up, right? So you need to understand where exactly you are setting up your computer, who can observe your computer while you are working remotely. These are the few things, while you are setting up a location, remote location at your home, you should take into consideration. So changes to your business, I think this is more important, and major impact, when you are maintaining a PCI, I think remote assessments and the coronavirus, I think this has come together. And uh, and one of the major impact of COVID-19 has been the travel restrictions on many people, and I think we are seeing that, and we you know this is impacting our SSA community, such as just as much as the rest of us, while we are working from home. In addition, many companies are now not permitting external staff on to go on site, which are still open. This can be challenged for your annual validation against various PCI standards and programs. As a result, PCI SSC has released blog on a remote assessment and the coronavirus. Um, Please note that the normal rules for an assessment apply. The assessor must undertake a remote assessment with the same rigor and to the same standard that an on-site evaluation would be conducted. The remote assessment must not impact the security of the environment that is being assessed. For example, if company rules do not allow cameras or mobile devices into certain areas, then this rule must not be breached to enable a remote assessment. Requirements around this must be recorded as not tested. This may lead to some items needing to be validated when travel is permitted. Organizations here should work with their assessor to help make the best of a remote assessment. Also, organizations should work with their respective acquirer and the brands and discuss any issue or concerns with them. So I will repeat here: if you have any concerns or any issues pertaining to your assessment, so you should directly reach out to your acquirers and the payment brands and discuss those issues and concerns. Yeah, I think increased phishing and other attacks. I think this is another area that we have been working on, and I think we have released some guidance document around the threats and scams around the COVID-19. Um, so the search COVID-19 and frauds of frauds or phishing, and you will be quickly seeing this is becoming a big problem, and I think we all are facing that problem. uh, and if you see this screen, I think when you Google COVID-19 scams and threats, you will get so much of news coming on your top stories, which highlights what is happening around. So PCI also has recognized this as one of the another major problem, and released an excellent blog on how to be aware of online scam and threats. I think this is completely available on PCI Security Standard website, PCI Perspective blog. Uh, if you have not enrolled yourself on the PCI blog, you should do that now, and you will be getting all the PCI related updates quickly. Speaking of e-commerce, I think these are the most common compromise targets for criminals looking to steal cardholder data nowadays. So attacks, as we all know, are evolving too, and the physical schemas become less effective with EMV and biometrics coming in to the picture. The threat of the online skimming appears. Online skimming is largely these attacks infect e-commerce sites with malicious code known as sniffers or JavaScript sniffers, that JS sniffers that we call them, and are very difficult to detect. And after a website gets infected, the payment card information is copied during a transaction without the merchant or consumer being aware that the information has been compromised. So we identified this as one of the key another problem area, and last year we released a blog, and we released a bulletin, not a blog. We released a bulletin, and this bulletin is available on the PCI Security Standards website, and you can find more information on the website. And we called it as a Mage card, so you can search on the PCI website to get more information on Mage card and online skimming threats, and how you can protect your organization from getting a victim of these attacks. See, the blogs also includes links to three of the best guidance papers on preventing scams and phishing attacks produced by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, Europol, and the U.S. Department of Justice. I think this is completely available on the blogs. You will see the links, and they will walk you through. They will take you through the respective website. But you can always take a note of the web links given on the slide for quick information. Do take a note and implement the guidance which has been provided, and which will help all of us. So having made aware of manufacturing and delivery issues which has been caused by COVID-19, the PCI SSC have extended the approval lifetime of all PCI PTS version 3.0 by 1 year until end of April 2021 to remove the impact this would have caused an already stretched payment sector. As a result of the travel restriction, PCI have had to cancel all face-to-face trainings planned for April, May, and June. We will, where possible, going to offer the computer-based training. Although there are some challenges relating to the exams we are currently working into, but we will be keep updating our PCI COVID-19 update blog as and when we have some more information. So please keep an eye on the same. And uh, and more importantly, this is what the latest information that you will see on our PCI guidance on the COVID-19 blog that we have. This is how the web page is going to look like. Uh, so so PCI SSC want all our community to stay safe, and do your businesses to all your businesses to stay safe and secure as well. We are there to help to keep in touch, and do visit our website for all latest guidance and support. So I think this was a quick update that I had on COVID-19, and now I will be moving. This is the part two of the webinar, which I will be focusing on the key updates on standards, and how can PCI SSC help, and how you can help secure the payment data. So for I think everyone knows who we are. So just for the quick information, PCI, the Payment Card Industry Security Standard Council is an open global forum created in 2006 by 5 major payment brands, which is Visa, Mastercard, Amex, JCB, and Discover, to develop, maintain, and manage the PCI security standards. Also, to keep you posted, the brands share equally in governance and execution of the PCI Council work. So PCI SSC provides 15 data security standards. We also provide best practices. We provide trainings, education, certification, tools, and industry news and alerts and guidance, which we just had a walkthrough. Unlike other organizations that just offer standards, uh, so 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 this slide largely talks about the 15 data security standards that we have, and payment security is just not DSS, which is data security standard. DSS is the oldest, and it contains the connective philosophy and tissues, that is, protect payment data to prevent fraud. But as we all know, the threats have evolved, and so had the payment security beyond PCI DSS. The DSS is the foundation of our objective, but we have evolved our standards. So PCI SSC now encompasses more currently 15 data security standards, which you can see on your slide. Now, if you understand, proliferation of channels, players, and technology, when you talk about the new payment channels, more ways to make and accept payments today. Used to be simple when we talked about of payments, but now the present has new security challenges, new players, venues, and users, starting from cloud service providers to the token service providers to mobile application developers. And the most exciting and scary new technologies that we are seeing today, which opens up with the new opportunities for businesses, open doors for new and more efficient criminal models. So we started with the environment and controls like DSS, and then we added more new data security standards. So this is a very important slide, and also this diagram notes applicable PCI security standards for the compliance related concerns that you may have related to these standards. You may need to contact your payment brands. So the global collaboration is a central to the council's mission, and securing payment data is just not a solo act. It is a community. It takes a community. So global collaboration and partnership are the essence of the PCI Security Standard Council. So how this collaboration happens? This collaboration happens when the payment industry when the payment industry is involved and participating in the work we are doing. And I'm going to walk you through how you can get involved in the PCI Council initiatives and participate in influencing the standards. Uh, PCI also have established focused efforts in some of the growing markets, for example, Brazil, India, and Japan, as well as the stakeholder engagement channels that we have, like regional engagement board, the global executive assessor roundtable gear. These all are aimed at increasing global participation across the payment ecosystem. Other stakeholder engagement channels includes, a special interest group, board of advisors, affiliate members, and the participating organization that we have, in the country. I'm going to walk you through how many we have in India as well in my upcoming slide. So globally, we have 800 plus participating organizations, and which is representing across all the industries, all working together for collaborative standard development and creation of guidance and trainings. This is a statistics on the regional involvement. We have 12 participating organizations. We have one affiliate member in the country today, which is NPCI. We have 45 PCIP professionals. We have 6 internal security assessors and 40 plus qualified security assessors. So just wanted to highlight the numbers are referring to companies rather than the number of individuals, that are QSAs or ISAs. The only number that is individual is for the PCIP, which is PCI professional training that we have. Moving on to the key updates that we have on the standards. This slide shows the timeline. We have 2 slides, 30. This slide and this, and I'm going to walk you through both the slides together. The slide shows a timeline for the PCI standard development and revision. Obviously, it is important that all the standards are regularly reviewed to ensure that address the changes to the threat environment and continue to address the needs of the community. Many of our standards have undergone several revision now, and the typical cycle is around 3 years. The PCI SSC standard started around 2005, which you have seen in my earlier slide, with the PCI DSS and PCI PTS, and have progressed up to the broad range of the standards that we have today. The text that you see in the green shows those standards which are in development or being updated at present. The important point that you would see here is the PCI DSS version 4, the PCI DSS version 4.0 is currently under development. and the target date for the completion is mid of 2021. So here, this slide, is again all the 15 data security standard. So I'll explain you why we have created this block. I think there's a logic behind. I'll want to explain this. Every time we see a new opportunity or a need or a gap, we build a block to fill that gap, a new process or a new standard. At the same time as crack appears on existing blocks and need to be repaired, we issue updates and revision to continue to evolve our standards. So we are building the blocks that fill the gaps and maintaining the blocks so that their cracks does not become a problem. So our standards, that's the reason, if you have seen my last slide, we have a cycle of 3 year. Every 3 year we have a revision to the standard. Here our focus is to ensure that our existing standards and programs remain relevant and effective, and to provide security requirements, practices, tools for new areas. DSS 4.0, the development of the PCI DSS 4.0 is a top priority for us in 2020 and 2021. So mark your calendar now for the upcoming RFCs, the request for commits scheduled, which is going to be scheduled this year and will be published on the PCI Security Standard website. So I think this is important, and many would have question on around the PCI DSS version 4.0, and here is what we have for you to understand and how we are going to accomplish our timeline of mid 2021 to release the PCI standard. So as you know, there has been changes in the payments, and you see, the greater accessibility. Far more merchants are now online. We have larger accessibility there. We have third-party reliance, no longer a simple four-party model now, and we expect that 90% of the internet traffic managed by third parties by 2020. And India alone has around today 650 million mobile users, phone users, approx 50% of the smartphones. And the dynamic data, which is EMV, contactless mobile payments, are picking up, and the form factors, including like rings, watches, and mobile, are changing the way the payments used to happen. So this is other key drivers which led us to think on PCI DSS version 4.0. So in addition to the changes in the payments, PCI DSS has been updated to reflect changes in the security technologies. For example, we are aware that the standards that the different standards and regulatory bodies have different requirements for password. Updating a standard to DSS 4.0 allows us to ensure more up-to-date and clearer policy for user authentication. We also use the update to remove older wording, such as related to the migration from SSL to a TLS and other housekeeping changes. Finally, there was significant number of new and updated PCI standards since PCI DSS version 3.0 was released. Sorry. Again, this allows us to align our standards and bring them up to date. All these drivers now are aimed at ensuring that the standard continues to meet the need of payment industry. So these are other key drivers that PCI Security Standards Council has been working on. So this is very important slide, and I think back in 2005, when PCI was launched, PCI SSC launched, payments were really very, very simple. Technology was simple. Now, if you all agree to me, technology has changed completely. PCI SSC have updated the PCI security standards, data security standard, and we also know that PCI DSS must be relevant for all as we move towards uh, the changes that we are seeing in the payments. Hence, the 4.0 has come into existence, and that's where we are trying to make sure that we deliver the standard which is going to meet the need of the industry. The PCI DSS 4.0 development is currently in progress, and the last RFC that has been that has been released was last year, and we have got close to 3,200 comments from around 150 different organizations. All comments to be reviewed and actioned. And once this happens, we will be drafting the standard and would be again released for the feedback as part of the RFC process, which is going to happen towards 2020, end of 2020 or mid of 2020. Coming on to the next slide is the mobile and the software security. So software security, PCI SSC has rolled out the PCI software security framework for the secure design and development of modern payment software, which includes two standards. One is the secure software and secure that is two standards, which is secure software and secure SLC. Then we have a validation program for software vendors and their software products, and as well as a qualification program for assessors. The SSF will ultimately result in a broader range of more secure payment softwares for merchants. This is in continuation to my last slide. I'll walk you through what secure software, PCI secure software and secure SLC programs contain. So through the secure software program, SSF will evaluate payment software products against the secure software standard, and the PCI Council will list validated payment software on the PCI SSC website. Through the secure SLC program, assessors will evaluate the payment software vendors' adherence to the secure SLC standard, and the PCI Council will list qualified vendors on the PCI SSC website. Secure SLC qualified vendors will benefit from enhanced options on self-attestation to their own software delta assessments as part of the validation of their software products against the secure software standard. So in other words, I'll walk you through the initial program launch eligibility requirements. The software must be involved in or directly supporting or facilitating payment transaction. Software must store, process, or transmit clear text account data. Software must be commercially available and developed by the vendor for sale to multiple organizations. So these are the initial program launch eligibility requirement. The PCI Council expect to expand the range of software eligibility for validation under the secure software program over time as additional modules are added to the secure software standard. For assessors, PCI SSC will be qualifying companies and individuals within those companies to perform assessments. Under the PCI software security framework, the SSF assessor companies may choose to qualify to perform assessments under the secure SLC program, the secure software program, or both. So secure SLC assessor will evaluate payment software vendors' adherence to secure SLC standard to be listed as qualified vendors on the PCI SSC website. Secure software assessor will evaluate payment software products against secure software standard to be listed as validated payment software on PCI SSC website. The SSF qualification requirement for assessors is currently available on the PCI Security Standards Council website. So SSF will ultimately replace your PA-DSS and its program. Upon the expiry of the PA-DSS 3.2 in 2022, all the PA-DSS validated payment applications will be moved to the acceptable only pre-existing deployments list, and the PA-DSS program will be retired. At that point, what you need to understand, all assessments must occur under the PCI software security framework. In the interim, what we are saying is that all the current PA-DSS validated payment applications will continue to be governed under the PA-DSS program until the expiry date for those applications is reached. That is 2022 for payment applications validated to PA-DSS 3.2. Current payment application vendors will be able to submit the changes to existing PA-DSS validated payment application until PA-DSS expire. Additionally, based on the feedback from the industry, we are extending the date for acceptance of new PA-DSS submissions from mid 2020 to mid 2021. So you can still submit your PA-DSS application or the new submissions of application until mid 2021. We have also simplified the qualification path for PA-QSA to become secure SLC and secure software assessor, recognizing their applicable skills and experience as assessor under the PA-DSS program. In addition to meeting the software security framework qualification requirement for assessors, PA-QSA must complete a computer-based training and the corresponding exam rather than the instructor-led training required for new assessors. So this is with respect to the PA-DSS impact and transition. How you can help secure the payment data? I think more importantly, first is to participate. The first one of the way to participate is to become the PCI participating organization, which is open globally to PCI players, including merchants, processors, vendors, acquirers, and the several benefits. Becoming a PO or participating organization, you have several benefits. The biggest one is ability to impact the standards for payment card security globally. In other words, you can say influence the standards. Connection, making more connection, you can become a part of a global network of the payment security leaders. As a PO, not only you can impact payment security globally, connect with the payment security leaders, but you also can gain visibility for your organization and demonstrate your commitments to payment security to your customers and business partners. As a participating organization, you also can influence the future of payment security standards through the PCI Council Board of Advisors. So in India, we have NPCI as an affiliate member, and we have a BO. They are also a board of advisor for us. So you can understand how we are trying to influence the future of payment security standards from India. Every 2 years, we ask participating organizations to nominate. Additionally, vote to elect the board members that they believe will best represent the interest of their organization, industry sector, and region. Board provides PCI Council leadership with critical visibility and insights into the payment security challenges and opportunities that they may be facing. We rely on this input to develop the data security standards and programs that help businesses globally detect, mitigate, and prevent cyber attacks and breaches. So, in nutshell, what we are trying to say is that you have a larger say to impact the payment security globally if you are able to get onto if you are able to become a participating organization and get yourself nominated to become a board of advisor. One of the direct ways, I would rather say, you can participate and connect as a participating organization is through a special interest group, or we call it as an SIG. How many of you are interested in cloud computing at this point of time? Because cloud computing, telephone payments, security, maintaining PCI DSS compliance, these are all topics that SIG today have addressed. And the beauty of this SIG, special interest group, is that they are driven by the industry. The participating organization propose and pick the topics these group addresses, and then work together to develop the guidance for the industry. Example, the current ISG that we have is on the PCI DSS in large organization, and this SIG document was published on 20th February which is available on the PCI Security Standards Council website. And the objective this SIG has been able to accomplish is identify challenges faced by large complex organizations in relation to validating and maintaining PCI compliance, providing guidance on how PCI DSS assessments can be organized and structured to facilitate more efficient and effective assessments, offering more examples of how organizations could manage and coordinate assessments across their different environments more efficiently. Please do download this SIG document, and that's going to really help you in terms of how the PCI DSS for large organization can work. The 2020 Special Interest Group is around the cloud cryptographic services. Uh, you know, consider the security, which we are going to work on the consider the security implications, provide guidance to the industry. If you want to really contribute to this particular SIG, you can join at SIG at PCISecurityStandards.org. This SIG has been already kicked off in February 2020. Do send an email if you really want to contribute and make a difference, helping payment card industry secure the payment data. Another way to directly influence PCI standards as a participating organization is task forces. These groups provides high-level advice and even help draft our standards. Recent examples of contribution from these groups is Software Security Standard and the Small Merchant DSE. Mobile Task Force, for example, open for the countless standards development, which we have released recently in December. We have released our PCI contentless standard, which is also available on the PCI Security Standard website and available for your download. For the solutions that are developed for contentless for the merchants for accepting the countless payments. In addition to impacting the standards, a key benefit for the participating organization is the global connection. And when you join as a participating organization, you become a part of the global network of payment security leaders, which is approximately around 800 plus POs, which is across 60 plus countries. You get an opportunity to network, collaborate with the global network of payment security leaders at the global community meeting and forums. Benefits: as a PO, you receive complimentary attendance for the PCI SSC participating organization. Finally, when you join as a participating organization, you can demonstrate your company's commitment to payment security to your customers and to your business partners. Listing on PCI SSC website and use of PCI SSC PO logo. You can see the screen here. There are few few logos of existing participating organization that we have. I think this is more important to learn. I think people are really critical part of keeping payment data safe and secure. To help with understanding, implementing, and maintaining the PCI standards, PCI Council provide trainings for merchants, service providers, banks, and their partners. We offer e-learning trainings, instructor-led formats. Added PO benefits: you receive substantial discounts for training courses. I'll try to highlight few of them here that may be relevant for the India market. So the PCIP, the PCIP training is program provides training and qualification on implementing and maintaining PCI DSS to support your ongoing security and compliance efforts. This is individual entry-level qualification in the payment security information is renewal carrier qualification that is not affected by the changes in employment assignments and stay in effect if the individual continues to meet the requirements. It also provides the great foundation for other PCI qualifications. PCIPs are listed in a searchable directory on the PCI Security Standards Council website. We have internal security assessor program, which provides training and qualification to individuals within a company on assessing their organization adherence to PCI DSS. Specifically, ISA program teaches individuals at merchants, service providers, and acquirers companies how to perform internal assessments and recommend solutions to remediate issues related to PCI compliance. Assessors are sponsored by their companies. This is a little you need to understand. Assessors here are sponsored by their companies, so when they receive the qualification, they will be able to help their organization build internal expertise and assess its compliance with the PCI standards. Act as a liaison with the external PCI auditors and manage interactions with qualified security assessors and manage as well as manage the compliance cost. More importantly, I think the key takeaways, we are on the last slides. The key takeaways from this is we should participate, share as much as we can, learn, and by becoming joining a participating organization, use PCI SSC resource, sign up for PCI training. If we are able to together, we together can always help secure the payment data by collaborating, educating, providing simplified solutions, information sharing and industry guidance. We can help we can all come together, work together in securing the payment data. I think I am done with the slides, and if you have any questions, I will open the floor. Narendra, over to you.
Thank you, my friend. It was a very, very interesting session, and there are tons of questions, but as you can see, we are way over time. So I'll just ask a couple of quick questions that the people have. One is, I think, is very, very relevant. That is, what is the PCI Council's take on the India data policy for geo restrictions of data? So does PCI Council have a say on that?
Just wanted to clear everyone. PCI Security Standard Council focus. If I have to take back to you my last slide, our focus is completely on the development of the standards, and these are the questions which are pertaining to the compliance and which we really do not get into. But if you have any concerns relating to the local compliance with local laws, you should always get connect to your payment brands or acquirers to get clarity on the same.
Okay. And okay, another question that has come up is with regards to what are the benefits for participating organization by becoming a participating organization, and what's the process for that?
So for participating organization, you need to go onto the PCI website. PCI website, you will be able to search for the participating organization application form. An application, you need to fill that application form. Once you fill that application form, there would be an invoice which will be generated for becoming a participating organization. This is a you will get this is a 1 year you will get 1 year program. You will get access for 1 year. Post 1 year, you have to get yourself renewed. The participating organization benefits that you have is once you become PO, you can contribute to the standards development. You can get the draft copies of the standards well in advance prior to anyone having it access in public. As well as you have you can contribute, you can take part in different various SIGs, special interest group. You can also be part of any other new initiatives that PCI Council would be taking in India going forward. There are a lot of other benefits that you get becoming a participating organization, but you need to go on to the PCI Council website. You can drop me an email either on nbhatnagar@pcisecuritystandards.org. It's very simple, and Bhatnagar at PCISecurityStandards.org, and I would be able to share with you all those information and link to the application form.
Thank you, Nitin. That was a great answer, and I'm sure that everybody just loved the program. But unfortunately, we have to end at this time. We have gone way overboard, but it was definitely worth every second of it. Nitin, I am at a loss of words for all the work that you have done and all the effort that you have put in. And I'm sure that even the attendees would agree to it on that. So before we end, a brief request to all the people that at the end of this, there is a brief survey. Please do put in your comments. Please do put in your thoughts and future suggestions, questions, whatever, and we'll get back to you on this. And here you see a list of the past webinars that we have had. This is 33rd, and this is, like, as you can see, a host of webinars, all free on our YouTube site. Whether it is SOC 2, GDPR, PCI DSS, and here it is on the cloud, FDA CFR Part 11. So many things are there that you can look into. And this is our YouTube page. Do visit our YouTube page and subscribe to it, and you'll get updates on all the videos that we upload and the content that we make live. And that's a Facebook page. You keep on updating the content. A lot of posts is there. You can get benefit from that also. And that's a LinkedIn page. Do connect to it and see what all is happening in our company. And towards the end, these are our coordinates. That's my email address at the top. Do drop me a line for any queries or any suggestions that you might have, and we will definitely get back to you. So thank you again, Nitin, for all that you have done, and thank you, my dear audience, for being there with us. Looking forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Thank you again. Bye bye.